Hi everyone and welcome back to the channel. So today, you might guess what I'm doing from my mug and also the title, but I'm doing the Toy Story tag. And Martyn is to my left here and he is overseeing my Toy Story tag because it is his creation. So he created the Toy Story tag, about 6 months ago, maybe a bit longer. It was whilst I was on the ship last year, so I never got round to filming it, but so many people filmed the tag after he created it, and it was so much fun to watch everyone else's Toy Story tags. And then we were chatting about it the other day, and he was like, "You haven't done a Toy Story tag?" And I was like, "No, I haven't." So we thought now is the perfect time for me to do the Toy Story tag. So obviously I'm not as big a Toy Story fan as Martyn. He's looking at me. But if you do want to watch a true #1 fan of Toy Story do the Toy Story tag, check out Martyn's, and I'm going to put it in the description box below. But I still love Toy Story. It still holds a very special place in my heart. But I definitely feel that I have enjoyed it more since being an adult. I don't really remember it that much as a child, so these questions, some of them might be quite interesting to answer. But yeah, I'll get started. Okay, #1. How old were you when you first saw a Toy Story film? I can't remember this. I can't remember when I first watched one. I'm not sure if I watched it in the cinema. I remember my dad used to take me to see most Disney films in the cinema. So I'm guessing, hopefully, I did see it when it was in the cinema. So that would have been 1996. I think it was released in the UK. So I would have been 6 years old. So I'm going to go with that, but I'm not entirely sure because I can't fully remember. So question #2. If you could be any toy from your childhood, what would you be? But you can't pick Disney. So my first thought was a Disney, because I had the Disney castle and I had Cinderella. And I loved that Disney castle. So that was my first thought, but I can't pick that one. So I'm going to pick my ultimate childhood toy, which I still have to this day, Snoozem. I have had this toy since I was about 2-3 years old. So I've had him for so long, and he's been through the wars. His head fell off because my brother kicked him down the stairs, so his head had to be sewn back on, so now he has no neck. Also, he has loads of beans in him, but they've all fallen out of his feet. And yeah, he's been through the wars, but he's still standing. And I just love him. And I actually think the brand name was Snoozem. So I don't think I was very creative as a child, because I think I just called him what his brand was, which was Snoozem. But now it's become his name. So I think I would be Snoozem because I never got rid of him. So I'd pick Snoozem because I would live forever, because I'm going to have him forever. Okay, #3, your favourite Toy Story film. This is quite a tough one because I do like the first one. Because for nostalgic reasons, I really enjoy watching it, and it's probably the one I've watched the most. But I think my favourite one, and this is the same as Martyn, is Toy Story 2. Just because I love all the new characters that get introduced. I love Jessie, and I love that whole gang. Wait a minute, where are they, Martyn? Owl's house. I love all the characters there. I also enjoy the songs. I love When She Loved Me. And I don't know, it's just a film that if you were to say to me, what should we watch today? I'd probably pick Toy Story 2 out of them all. But I haven't watched it in a really long time, so I do need to watch it again. But I remember laughing a lot more in it as well. I think it has some really good jokes. I do find Al quite funny as well. I always remember when he drives his car across the road to work, and he's like, have to go all the way to work, have to go all the way to work. So yeah, I think I'd probably go with Toy Story 2. Martyn's laughing at me because apparently I was really posh then when I did my impression of Al, but I couldn't remember how his actual voice goes.
I've got to go all the way to work.
I've got to go all the way to work. All the way to work. Okay, #4. I'm going to run out of fingers in a minute. Your favourite Toy Story themed ride. This is a really tricky one because, like Martyn, for nostalgic reasons, I love Slinky Dog. in Disneyland Paris, because if you guys watch our vlogs, you know what a special place that ride holds in our hearts. And also it's what inspired Slinky Dog, the phrase, which is now on our badges. But if I'm going to be specific on what actual ride I think is the best, I would have to say Toy Story Mania in Walt Disney World. It's just so much fun, and I've only ever been on it a few times because it's really hard to get fast passes for. It's a really popular ride, but I think it's just so much fun. I really like challenge rides, like where you have to like, I love all the Buzz Lightyear ones as well. But I just think it's really clever how it's kind of like an arcade-esque ride. I love all the theming and everything about it. But that might change, because when we go to Walt Disney World again, we will go on Slinky Dog, like the roller coaster ride in Toy Story Land, which some people have said it's like their favourite roller coaster, like they really love it. It could change, but for now, I'd probably say Toy Story Mania. So question number 5, if you could create a character from one of your childhood toys, who would they be? That's quite a hard question. A lot of the toys I had, well, I remember having, are already Toy Story toys. Like, I remember having Polly Pockets, but I think there is a toy that's similar to that in Toy Story. And then I remember having Barbie and Ken, but obviously they're in Toy Story. So I think I've got quite a few. I had quite a few toys. I remember those spinning ones as well, which were quite dangerous, but you pulled them and then they like span, and I think that is a character as well. They like fly, like you pull them and they spin and then they fly up. Oh, well, if that's not a character, I'd probably pick that, because that's pretty cool, and I feel like they would be able to save people in the sticky situations that the gang get themselves into. And they'd be quite good at like protection as well, because you could just fire them at people, and they like spin really fast. I'm not sure what they're called, but I definitely had one of them when I was younger. So question number 6, which character would you say you are most like? I found this one quite hard because I don't think I'm like any Toy Story character. Like, there's not one which really, like, Martyn is like Woody, so that one's quite easy for him. But I don't think I'm really like anyone that I can think of. I probably think the closest is Rex. Martyn's laughing at me. Just because I think I can get quite excited like Rex. And also when he goes in one of his modes where he's like manic and like running around, like that's me at Disney World. And he also panics, and sometimes I do panic as well. So yeah, I'd probably go the closest is probably Rex. But yeah, that was a hard question. So question number 7, what is your favourite Toy Story song? So I've already mentioned it in the tag, but my ultimate favourite song is When She Loved Me from Toy Story 2. I just think it is the most beautiful song ever. And sometimes I forget that it's Toy Story, like it's a standalone song in its own right. And it can just be used to describe so many different situations. But how it's used in the film as well is really beautiful. With Jessie, and I don't know, I think it's just one of my favourite Disney songs ever, so it's definitely my favourite Toy Story Disney song. And I've actually done a cover of it, so I'll pop that in the description box if you fancy having a listen. So question number 8, which character would you like to have seen more of? I think I'm going to go with our favourite Slinky Dog, because I don't feel like he gets that much recognition. Like, he has the odd line, he's in most of the scenes, but he doesn't really have that many lines, and I just think he's a little bit forgotten sometimes, and I feel like he deserves more recognition in the films. And I think also he just holds a special place in my heart now because of Slinky Dog. Question number 9. Did you ever own any Toy Story merchandise when you were a child? Sadly, I don't think I did. I can't remember any. The only things I probably owned was the VHS of the films. But I can't remember ever owning any merchandise. I own more Toy Story merchandise now as an adult. So like we've got this mug, Martyn's got a Woody, which I think he had when he was younger. Oh, I do have one new piece of merchandise which I got from Primark, which is my phone case, and it has Bo Peep on it. So yeah, that's a little bit of Toy Story merchandise, but that was as an adult, so doesn't count for that question. But yeah, I don't think I was really hot on Toy Story when I was a child, so yeah, I don't think I had any. Number 10, your favourite Toy Story villain. I think this has to be Lotso Bear, and simply because he smells the strawberries, and I really, really want the plush of him. And whenever I see him in Disneyland Paris, I just always have to smell him. I can't walk past him in a shop without smelling him. And then every time I'm like, I really need this plush. And I haven't to this day bought him, but I feel like it's going to happen soon. I feel like maybe on our next Disney trip, I need to buy him because I've said it so much. So I think it is time. And he is my favourite villain because I think it's a bit shocking. You don't think he's going to be a villain, and then he is. And I think, yeah, he's got a lot to him. He's got a lot of layers, that Lotso Bear. Right, we're on to number 11, your favourite line. I think my ultimate favourite line, and the one that I always remember, I'm going to say it wrong though now, and it's in the first film when Buzz is flying and he says, "This isn't flying, this is falling with style." And it's just one of those quotes that I just always remember. And I just think it's a really nice quote to end the film on. And yeah, I think that's probably my favourite line. Okay, number 12, Woody or Buzz? Now Martyn's gonna shoot laser at me, but I think I'm gonna pick Buzz because I find Buzz more funny. I just think he's funnier. Especially with like Spanish mode, and I don't know, I think I just prefer Buzz, sorry. Number 13, did you used to watch Buzz Lightyear of Star Command? Nope, and I'm really sorry, I don't even know what that is. Yeah, I haven't heard of that. Is it a TV series? But yeah, no, I haven't watched it. Number 14, your favourite character outside of Woody and Buzz. I think for nostalgic reasons, it's going to have to be Slinky Dog because it's Slinky Dog and I just love him. Number 15, your favourite scene. Ooh, that's a tough one. Now, this isn't my favourite scene in the way that I like it. Like, it's not a funny scene. I just think it's the most cinematic scene that made me feel something the most. And that is in Toy Story 3 when they're all travelling down towards the furnace. And it's just the scene that got me here the most. Out of a lot of other Disney films, like it's just a scene that really stuck with me, and I know it's stuck with so many other people as well. So it's not my favourite scene because I don't like what's happening, but I think it's one of the better put together scenes because it really does hit you here. And I think it's just one of those scenes that will always go down in like cinematic history. And it's one which they might not remember the film, but if you ask people about Toy Story 3, they always remember that scene. Number 16, were you like Sid or Andy when you were a child? I was like Andy. I used to always like make up scenarios and like play, like storytelling play. But my brother was like Sid because, like I mentioned, he kicked Snoozem from the top of the stairs to the bottom, and Snoozem's head was at the top and his body was at the bottom, and he laughed. And it was the most traumatic experience of my life. So yeah, I was like Andy, but my brother was definitely like Sid. Number 17, you're a toy and you need to get somewhere quickly. Do you go to RC or Bullseye? I think I'm going to go to RC because if I need to get somewhere quickly, although Bullseye does run like the wind, I just think RC might get me there quicker. I might be wrong, but I think I'd probably go for RC. Number 18, which film made you the most emotional? Well, I've chatted about this, but definitely Toy Story 3 and that furnace scene. That was intense. And that definitely made me cry the most. I also really did love Toy Story 4, but it was more of a... like it made me emotional, but in a more content way. Like I felt like, oh, that's sad, but it's also like the story's kind of completed. Whereas in Toy Story 3, it was literally just horrifying what was happening. And yeah, that probably made me the most emotional. Question number 19. Space Ranger spin in Disney World or Buzz Lightyear laser blast in Disneyland Paris? Now I'm glad they told me which one was in which, because I always get them muddled up. But I'm going to have to go with Buzz Lightyear laser blast in Disneyland Paris, simply because I've won more times on it, and I'm so much better at it. Because you can actually take it out of the holster and like shoot. So I just find it easier, and I'm just so much better at that one. I'm really, really useless at the one in Walt Disney World. Like I hardly get any points. So I don't know why, because then they're not like that different, but for some reason I'm just so much better at the one in Disneyland Paris. So I'm gonna have to go for that one. And finally, number 20, your thoughts on Toy Story 4, and do you want to see a Toy Story 5? I really, really enjoyed Toy Story 4. It was lovely to like have, I felt like it ended in a nice way. Like I feel like it really rounded off Buzz and Woody's journey. So I'm not really sure about a Toy Story 5. I personally don't know where you would go with that. But I did really enjoy Toy Story 4. It wasn't my favourite out of them all, but it was still a good film and I still really enjoyed watching it. And it has some really good characters, like Duke Kaboom is just the best character, like has some really good laughs in it. So yeah, I'm definitely happy that they did a Toy Story 4. But Toy Story 5, I think if it came out, I'd definitely go see it, but I don't feel like it's actually needed. I'm not waiting for it. But if it did come out, I would obviously go see it. But it would be nice if they did like a spin-off series, maybe on Disney Plus, about other characters. So like not Woody or Buzz. If they did them about someone like Slinky Dog or Rex, or like I feel like those characters could be explored a bit more. But I think Woody and Buzz, I think definitely their stories have like come to an end. But yeah, I really did enjoy Toy Story 4 though, and I really want to see it again because I only saw it once in the cinema, so I need to give it another watch. Okay, so that's my Toy Story tag. I hope you enjoyed. If you would like to do it as well, the questions will be in the description box, and make sure you tag us so that we can watch your Toy Story tag as well. But thanks so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one. Bye!